Hail to the king, baby.
Hey guys, what's happening? Got to make sure my mic's on. Usually I run into a pile of problems when we get started. It's me, it's Michael B, and we're back after what was a wonderful Easter weekend I spent with my family and friends. I had a great weekend, lots of fun, lots of special memories with the kids. Took them to a farm for brunch Easter Sunday, had a wonderful meal, and then we got to go out, pet animals, do like an Easter egg hunt. It was incredible. Hope you guys all had a wonderful Easter as well. It was also a pretty weird WrestleMania weekend too, because we had some good matches, good storylines going into the event, but it was rough, man. A lot of questionable decisions on booking and how matches ended. Really good matches at some points, but other stuff was just fell completely flat. So probably not the WrestleMania weekend everybody had hoped for, but we got to where we were supposed to go. Heel John Cena's the champion and everything is right with the world. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for being here tonight. So we're back to old school chill and chat with Michael B this week. So we've got one main topic we're going to talk about, and that is Iconic Arcade. So this is something that was announced way back when. Pre-orders are in, and the company's gone dead silent. There's reasons for that. We'll get into it, but there's a lot of questions left unanswered that I feel maybe we need answers to, especially with the cab set to come out in a little over a month. But before we get into that, I got a couple other things I want to talk about, and I want to say hello to the people that are in the chat. It's because of you that I do this every Monday. Thank you so much for being here. Man, I wish Nooner would go back to his old name. Anyways, saying hello to people. Dragon Gamer, nice to see you, my man. Jason S., who I know is hoping Iconic Arcade works out well. So much so that we eventually get that double Dragon cab. David Deming's here. Yeah, you would think since they're coming out in June, you would want people to know. Stupid Fat Hobbit's here. Fourth Horseman, good to see you as always. JJ, always good to see you, my man. Jason Little Alien, the best monitor in the business. Dan Z, good to see you, my man. Dan in St. Louis, always here. Really appreciate you being here and hanging out with me, Dan. This is a Steam gaming year for me. I'm fine with that. Yeah, Goofy, it's a weird gaming year for me, too. I'm going to get into it in just a little bit. Paul Mindeman says an update in exchange for the $350 he's already spent might be nice. I agree, Paul. Kevin Clausen's here. As a consumer, if nothing changes when the pre-order went live, I'm good. But if they have to make changes, then we should have gotten an update by now. Yes, Kevin gets it 100%. That's exactly why we're talking about this tonight. Who else we got here? Brooklyn Menace, the godfather of VR gaming in the home arcade community. Good to see you, my man. Have you beat that Wanderer Tales of Fate yet? Porter Dreams here. Good to see you, my man. Just for fun. Gramps Arcade says he's fine with his Arcade 1-Up Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition Deluxe cab. We're going to talk about that, Gramps. Me and you might be on the same page on that. Scott B is here. The Real Zim is here. Pinball Junkies. Jameel Smith. Nova Sonic. It's me. Show Gecko. Prince Malcolm. Rusev Day is back. I'm not watching wrestling. I'm so happy that Rusev's back in WWE. Hopefully they do more with them this time. Prince, I'm going to talk about you soon too, because I think me and you are on similar wavelengths when it comes to gaming. A little while ago, I posted this tweet about how Sunsoft Batman is incredible, and someone came to me and said, hey, you didn't give credit to Prince Malcolm. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. But he had posted something the exact same day. So a couple days ago, I also saw him post something about Castlevania Akuma Dracula X, Rondo of Blood on the PC Engine, and I've been hankering for a playthrough of that recently. It's one of the only Castlevania games I still haven't beat. So I think me and you are on the same wavelength, brother. Who else we got here? Rinsler is here. John Fritz. A bite named Annabelle. That's an interesting name. I'm sure not coming to Australia. I thought it was worldwide distribution. I could be wrong. MSU Rich, very nice to see you. Odd But Cools is here. Billy Woods Mods. Saiyan Spirits. Nooner's here. Chris NXNW. I miss the Nooner nomenclature. Bill's Retro Gaming Show. Ronald Lawrence. And thank you very much for watching the stream, man. That's what's important to me. Rusev versus Gunther has to happen. Agree. Gene G, nice to see you. Biggie D's Arcade. Everybody send Biggie D a warm welcome back to YouTube. Monetization. His channel got added back to the partner program today. Congratulations, Biggie D. B Kirby, what's happening, man? B Kirby, one of the nicest guys in the community. He got to join our stream last week, our community stream. Thank you so much for that. Big B 73. Who else we got? Mad Bed Han. If you guys playing on the At Games Legends Pinball 4K, you've definitely seen this guy on top of most of the leaderboards. I now feel weird when I go into a new game and don't see him there. It's funny that way. Ted Adam Green's here. I think we're all caught up. Yeah, here we go, guys. Oh, my goodness. What's important to me is super chats. $2 super chat from my buddy Kevin Clausen. Thank you very much, Kevin Clausen. Guys, I can't tell you how much just you being here means to me. Super chat is more than you need to do. Thank you very much, Kevin Clausen. Pitbull's here. I'll answer that question in the thumbnail. These cabs are not coming, especially from China. Hey, Gregory, nice to see you. We talked about Gregory last week on the show, and I mentioned he tried to provide me some advice, and it might have came off the wrong way. Gregory was just being an awesome dude, man, and giving me some advice on how to be better at pinball. That's all. Love Gregory. Yeah, and Gregory, I might actually start getting into some of your tournaments here now. Now that things are calmed down, most of my products are reviewed, and all my obligations are met. I got to get back into playing a little bit more Pinball FX VR. I'm really behind on getting anything done because it's just so hard. So I finally got to hook up my X Arcade Tank Stick VR to my MetaQuest 3. Apparently it's super easy. You just plug in the dongle. Then I'm going to jump on those leaderboards and come after you guys. Oh, it was amazing Easter. Amazing Easter. We had so much fun. Like, it's great where I live so close to both my wife's family and my family. Like, we do a huge Easter. It's so busy. Like, we do an Easter egg hunt with Lara's parents, and then like we did the brunch with them on Sunday. On top of that, we did a dinner with my parents. Then we did an Easter egg hunt. We had our own Easter egg hunt. Just wicked weekend. Like, I can't tell you how much I enjoyed it. Night times were busy watching wrestling. Great weekend. All right, guys. So a couple things I wanted to talk about first. First up, of course, is Thursday. Thursday is an important day for all of us. Of course, we've got a big pre-order coming up on Thursday. I don't know if it'll be for everybody, but for me, I'm really excited. Just got to bring this back to where it was meant to be. Hold on. So, of course, we got the Nintendo Switch 2 pre-order coming up on Thursday. I don't know how I'm going to handle this. It keeps going out this way, but I'll just pop in here to learn more. I think I'm registered on every site I can be right now to learn about when pre-orders go live, get information. I registered with Nintendo, sign up for a console. I went down to my local GameStop today, found out what time they're opening. So I don't really have a plan of attack yet, but I have a ton of information. I am concerned, like I mentioned on my video I did, I think it was on Friday, that there's going to be limited availability and I don't want to miss out. So I've got a couple irons in the fire. Guys, let me know in the chat. I know it's expensive. I know the games are expensive. It might be a little underwhelming. How many people are actually going to pre-order a Nintendo Switch 2 coming up on Thursday? Throw a 1 in the chat. Like Jason says here, hopefully I can grab one. I see Saiyan Spirit saying, prepare for disappointment. Man, I don't know. I think everybody wants to get one, but like I said to the guys at GameStop today, it's actually funny. The assistant manager now is a longtime friend, my friend Steve. And I went in talking to him and I said, do you have any idea how many are coming in? And he said, no. The only thing he could tell me was expect a large deposit when you put down your pre-order. So there is a actual deposit and they're talking significant. My feelings are right now with the way that Nintendo worded this, I think we're getting a portion of the supply, mostly the supply that they had built in Vietnam. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's what we're going to get now. And I really have a big fear that if we don't get in on the initial pre-order, then that, asterisk line that was underneath there saying, basically we will not control the prices of future units. We can't expect the price to increase on later pre-orders and later commitments. So I'm really hoping I can get my hands on this. Yeah, funny enough, JJ, we're going to talk about that in just a second. Most excellent Van Halen reference. See, that's the other thing, B Kirby, I'm in agreement with you with. I really like my OLED. Like I was very disappointed that the Switch 2 wasn't going to come stock with an OLED, but it's Nintendo. Eventually they'll come out with the upgraded version with the OLED in like 3 to 5 years. But from what I've been hearing, people have been saying, even though the screen isn't OLED, apparently it's fantastic, 1080, really good LCD. I know, but you got to understand, I've saw Headstones live, but that is an awesome story. Let me tell you about it. So what happened was they used to hold, if you're Canadian, you might remember these. They used to hold these like Molson Canadian, like special, like surprise concerts in the middle of nowhere. And it was all top secret. So I grew up in a place in Newfoundland called Paradise, which is a little town outside our capital city. And yeah, there was one of these Molson Canadian getaway concerts. And what it was they were holding it at a place called Duff's Farm in Paradise, which was like a huge, kind of mostly unused farmland. It's all turned into housing developments now. But when we heard that the thing was happening there, we were all like, well, we're all going to sneak in. And I mean, it was a 19 plus concert. I think I was only like 14, 15 at the time. So what we did was we all just snuck up and snuck in through the woods. We were watching on the sidelines for a while. Then security got lapsed and we just ran out on the field. But yeah, like I even ran into the Headstones at like the local corner store down at the bottom of my road. Their limo pulled in there before they were dropped off in this field to do the concert. It was pretty cool, man. Oh, don't wait for my review, man. There's going to be millions of reviews. People have already got their hands on them. I think people will be pretty happy with them. Like, again, you don't need an OLED to get amazing screen. Like, there's some monitors out there that are LCD, LED, have amazing picture quality. This looks good. Like, another example would be the PS Portal screen. PS Portal screen looks fantastic when your internet's dialed in. So, I mean, if the screen's as good as the Portal, I'll be pretty happy with it. Yeah, well, with the prices and the craziness going on, maybe we just wait. I don't know. But I'm going to be trying to get a pre-order in. I think that's going to be the leading news story on Thursday. Expect to see tons of YouTube videos with people saying, I got my pre-order, but expect the same clickbait type videos you always see with, I couldn't get a pre-order, Nintendo sucks, all that stuff happening all Thursday. Expect that. PlayStation Switch, exactly. So a little bit more news I wanted to share with you, unless you've been under a rock. tomorrow is actually going to be a pretty exciting day in gaming as well, because seemingly out of nowhere, we're getting a Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion remake, which is launching tomorrow, maybe. Apparently, the Bethesda, they're going live on Twitch and YouTube to show this off tomorrow. And some people are already reporting they've changed their region code on their Xbox, and they can get access to the game right now on Game Pass. So, you know, Xbox has been doing this lately, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. I kind of friggin' love it. Like I'm not gonna lie. I love it. Like when they did that surprise announcement of Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, really cool, jumped right into it. And yeah, if Elder Scrolls 4 comes out tomorrow, I think I'll be jumping into that too. So we stopped milking Skyrim. Oh, I think there's a lot more milk with Skyrim left. Now the question is, JJ asked earlier, will this run on the Switch too? Maybe. I think Xbox are at a point right now where I don't know if they know what they want to do. Like everything's an Xbox. I think they're focused on their game publishing side, but they're doing lots of weird stuff. I just hope this is good. I hope it shows up everywhere people want to play it, whether it's PC, Xbox, whatever you have. And that's it. Yeah, Morrowind. I will tell you, Morrowind is a slog. I finally beat Morrowind for the first time there about 5-6 years ago. I don't know if you guys remember, but when Xbox One originally put out that patch where you could put in your old Xbox games and then play a game that was on their store, I jumped right in and played Morrowind with improved visuals. Finally got through the game. It's a slog, though. It's fun, but it's a slog. I got a feeling if, Bethesda are smart, they'll remake a ton of games. There's lots of opportunity there. The other thing that I really like about Oblivion was I played through this one in a panic because I had just got my Xbox 360 from my wife for my birthday. And then all of a sudden, like 2 days later, I went out and bought Oblivion, and I just took a couple days off work, played right through it. Amazing game. So I'm excited to go back and try it again. All right, guys. So taking that off the screen and making me big again, there's a couple other things I did want to talk about. We did talk about Nintendo Switch. We talked about Oblivion coming out tomorrow. So there is another thing I do want to mention. If you guys are already in the Arcades Anonymous Discord, you probably already know about this one, but the Arcade 1-Up new SE edition cabs are in fact out in the public now. So luckily for us, because none of us were going to buy one, these look like complete shit. But our good friend Mystery Encoder, who's always doing amazing work for the community, took a bullet for us here. And he went out and purchased a couple of these Arcade 1-Up Slim Edition cabs. And here you can see it. I'm going to see if I can make this bigger. There we go. Looks like that's about as big as I can make it, but some of the worst shite I've ever seen. I know 19K Fox shared the pictures on his YouTube page as well. But I mean, look at this. Like the difference in screen and the difference in size of the cab. Everything is smaller here. And yeah, 100% agree. Mystery Encoder, on top of all the cool emulation shit you've done for us over the year, allowed us to play lots of extra shit on our Arcade 1-Ups. This is probably your greatest sacrifice, sir. Yeah, so no, Mystery Encoder bought Mortal Kombat, and he also bought the Miss Pac-Man. There's a couple pictures to go through here, so I can show you them so you can say, take a look and see what you think. But notice the difference in screen size. I mean, that 4:3 aspect ratio is going to be so small. So see if I can find another couple pictures for you here. There's the SE, not on a riser. There's a new 90-day warranty. There's the Miss Pac-Man 16:9 panel compared to the original panel. It's a bit of a illusion there. Mystery Encoder says it doesn't look as small there, but I mean, look at the width here. Like the width is the big thing. I mean, and then you got to remember the screen is only going to be a part of that. So, just horrible. There wasn't much else. They're using a older chip, but it's got all new casing inside. Let's see if there's anything else I really wanted to show there. He did have a picture of it up and running. He said the screen quality actually is really good. So the picture quality looks amazing. So these are probably better screens in terms of quality. It's just they're really, really small, 16 by 9, and it looks like it's got a 12.75 inch 4x3 playable screen area. Yeah, I mean, my hope, like I mentioned on my last show, is that yeah, these are not here to stay. These are just for the $299 cabs. This was all about hitting a price point to make Walmart happy, less material, smaller screen, and then they're going to stick with their quality for their bigger products. Like we talked about it last week. Apparently, you can go to Costco right now and you can pick up a new Partycade. Still has the 17-inch BOE monitor. So hopefully, this is just for the Walmart cabs, the really cheap Walmart cabs. Hopefully, if Arcade One Up releases anything else this year, which we don't know if they will, it'll be business as usual. I'm holding my fingers together for hope. And, seeing this is my greatest concern, the slim form factor and the fact they're going with really, really awful small screens. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see, guys. I'm hesitant to say everything is doomed until we see what the deluxe cabs look like and the XL cab. But, yeah, it's not looking good based on what the Walmart cabs are. So there's that side as well. And then last but not least, I did want to talk about something I'm recently into. So for Easter, and I talked about this, I shared a couple pictures. My family got me something really cool, and it's, developed some kind of fascination or itch within me, not a venereal disease, just an itch. But they actually got me an Atari 7800 Plus. Now, you guys probably would have saw me do videos on this. It's the exact same as the Atari 2600 Plus. So if you already have a 2600 Plus, you can already play both 7800 and 2600 games on it. But the cool thing is, this is something I always dreamed that Nintendo or Sega would do. They would officially come out with a new version of their classic consoles, release classic games, and maybe even do new games for the console. So I couldn't stay away from this forever. Like, I can already play most of these games through emulation, but there's just something about having a physical unit and being able to play original cartridges. So, one second. I got to start getting some water up here. No, Mystery Encoder, the cool thing, like we just talked about, is your willingness to sacrifice for the community. I can't believe you bought those cabs and you did us all that favor. I'm glad your 5-year-old likes it. So, yeah, there you go. So, anyways, Atari 7800. It's not perfect emulation. Like, it's no different than a Retron console. So if you have a Retron 77, it does the same thing. You plug your cartridge in, it reads the cartridge and then emulates it. It's not perfect emulation, but what it has done, it's brought this little sparkle in my eye that I'm now interested in not just console gaming, but going out and getting carts for this thing. I went down in my basement. I found some of my old Atari carts I had left. Like, I had Miss Pac-Man 2600. So now I'm messing around playing those on it. I bought a couple more. Like, I also picked up Atari 2600 Berserk. I mean, look at this box. How cool is that, man? And also, it doesn't come with it because it comes with that new controller. I also picked up the CX stick. So I got the new joystick. So I've been having fun going back playing some of the Atari games that I used to have. But I mean, Atari was a nightmare. Like, once you went past CRT, and it used to have the rabbit ear connections. So you used to have to go out and get like an attachment piece. I always found it really hard, the Atari 2600 and stuff, to work on even CRTs, more modern CRTs. So the fact that I have something now, even though it's not great emulation, I can just plug it in and play it. Well, that made me really happy. I thought it was really cool. So I started to get an itch for maybe, Atari's a little outside my age range, but like I still have some fond memories of it. It was the first console I ever played. Went over to my friend's house on his birthday. His birthday was like 18 days before mine. He asked for a Nintendo. His parents bought him the 2600 that looks like the 7800. And I remember being there playing Pac-Man for the first time. So I have some nostalgia for it, but not as much as I had for NES. Now, Nintendo's never going to do what Atari did here. Like, let's be honest. I wish they would. I freaking wish they would, but it's just not going to happen, guys, right? So I started looking at other options, and one I'm considering, I don't want to go with the Retrons. I don't like those because, let's be honest, you can do it, but the emulation isn't good. And I've said this a million times. If you're a classic, game enthusiast, like especially a Nintendo player, some games you can play through emulation and it's fine, but other games you play and there's a noticeable difference. Like if you're trying to beat Mike Tyson's Punch Out, good fucking luck through emulation because the timing's off and timing's so important through that game. So one of the things I've been looking at is FPGA emulation, which is pretty much a 1-for-1. It works almost exactly the same. So one of the things I'm looking at right now is, let's see if I can bring it up. Yeah, here we go. So this is just on our Retro RGBs site. I know that's my buddy Console Kit's favorite YouTuber. So anyways, this is the Retro USB AVS. So this is FPGA emulation, takes physical cards. So this is one thing I'm looking at getting. I'm not on the right site here, but this is still available. Now, this isn't my first choice, but this is something I'm looking at getting. But my first choice is, in fact, an analog. So if you go to analog, these are really the gold standard in new systems made on FPGA emulation that allow you to play the original cards. The other thing that a lot of these clone consoles like Retron don't let you do is use EverDrives. You can't use EverDrives because it only reads the card and then burns it. It can't do that off an emulation device. So I got to see if I can get the right window here again. I don't like that one. It's too small. I'll go with this one, I guess. So anyways, they got an N64 coming out that I'm keeping an eye on. Analog Pocket is one I want to come back to, but I want to show you their other devices first. So here's another one I've been toying around with buying. I've owned two Retro Duos, not Retro Duos. I've owned two, Retro Duos, Turbo Duos. So this was like the holy grail of my collecting back in the day, was to actually find an NEC Turbo Duo. What this does is it allows you to play TurboGrafx 16U cards as well as the CD attachment. So anyways, super hard to find. They've got a version here, modern, of FPGA emulation. We've also got these. Unfortunately, these are sold out. I had these in my cart on the last opportunity, and then I chickened out and didn't get them. But you can get a Sega Genesis that also hooks up to a Sega CD, so you can play your Sega CD through FPGA emulation, Super NT. And here's the original. This is the gold standard, which is the NT. And the only problem with this one is it was $500 US, but this is the best way to play NES and Famicom carts because they all do FPGA emulation. So I was getting pretty frustrated because I couldn't buy these. I couldn't go back in time and fix the pre-orders. I could still get this. I could still get this. And I could still get this when pre-orders come back up for it. But I went back and I was actually on Twitter, and I put a post up saying, is there a chance Analog will ever resell the NT, will ever resell the Super NT or the Mega, what was it, the SG or NT? I can't remember. The Mega SG. And Worst Jago replied to me and he said, hey, if all you want to do is kind of emulate these games, maybe go check out the Analog Pocket, because the Analog Pocket has a base and has cores for all these. So what I did was I want to play especially the older games, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Sega Master System, and of course Game Boy through FPGA emulation. But I don't want to get a Mister, because a Mister is going to cost me well over $600 US now. I think 500 to 600. Plus, it's a pile of work to get it set up. So what I did was I actually entered into the world of the Analog Duo. I picked one up, and I also picked up, you're going to see it here in a second if I can get down to it, What this does is it allows you to play original Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games all in the one step. You can also buy adapters to let you play Game Gear, Atari Lynx, Neo Geo Pocket, and also TurboGrafx 16 carts. So there's the whole suite of adapters you can get. But with this dock, I now have FPGA emulation on my TV because I can dock it. But then on top of it, what I can do is I can also go get the FPGA cores for Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, put them on my pocket, and then actually bring the ROMs over through the SD card. And I'm doing that perfect FPGA emulation directly through this unit. And then I get the best of both worlds. So a lot of people have been looking at these Abernic devices and playing games on handheld. I can do that on my Super Pocket with FPGA emulation on the go, or plug it into the dock, connect it with a Bluetooth controller, and play it on the spot. So this is the path I went with. I think like for me in the short term, like I don't want to spend a ton of money now. I'm going to stick with this. But I think I'm going to keep expanding. I think I'm going to buy Analog's products. I'm still going to cross my fingers that eventually they'll come out with another version of the NT, with another version of the Mega SG and the Super NT. I know they've said they're never going to do it, but I'm going to hope against hope. And yeah, I'm going to do some console gaming again. I mean, I've had the itch for a while now. There's nothing really happening with home arcade. I mean, like we're in a bit of a lull. So fuck it. I'm going to do a bunch of console gaming again. I miss it. I got a twinkle in my eyes. So, yeah. Science Spirits, 100% agree with you. I don't even have a problem with the limited runs. But to come out and say, guys, we're just never going to do this again, it's the most asinine business practice I've ever heard of. Like, and here's the thing. I was like, screw it. Okay, they're not going to do anymore. I went out on eBay and I was like, I'll just get one secondhand. They're like $1,600, $1,700 to buy them secondhand. So, I mean, here's the thing. Like, they're crazy to get a pre-order on when they go up. They're very small, limited editions, and them making these runs so small and no promise of future revisions basically runs up the scalping price on them. Like, you know, Analog, I want to support you, but your business practices really lead to some of the darkest, dumbest things in the home gaming community. So make more. You've done a great job with the Pocket. Now do it with your other more popular consoles. I'm sorry, I didn't know. I was late on the NT. I was on time for the Super NT and the Mega SG, but I had sold most of my carts and I was gun shy about it. Make it happen, man. Come on. Scott B bought an Analog Pocket pretty much just to play Atari Lynx games. Analog is legit. I had a Duo, of course. I'm still waiting for my 3D that was due in Q1. I know everybody's really upset about that. Chris, good to see you, my man. James, man, I'm hoping. But yeah, there we go. Mystery Encoder, he bought an Analog 3D. I'm 100% going to buy an Analog 3D. I don't have my childhood N64 collection anymore. I sold it a couple of years back, but yeah, I'll pick up a few select games that I really want to play. Yeah, 100%. Sathius, good to see you, my man. So anyways, that's what's going on with me. I got shipping notification. They sent it today. So hopefully it won't take too long. And hopefully it's not going to be tariff heavy where it ships from the US. I'll give you an update on that in a couple days, guys. But anyways, that is that. That's kind of the other stuff I wanted to talk about tonight. But now, as we get into it, let's talk about the main topic, and that is Iconic Arcade. So there's no easy way to say this. Home arcade has been really shitty the last couple of weeks because the only thing we really had to talk about is tariffs and how tariffs are impacting businesses, potential impacts. We found out that, you know, we had this real big excitement all based around Basic Fun. They were going to be this arcade one-up replacement. They were coming out with 5 cabs coming out Q1. Then all of a sudden the trade war happens and we find out Basic Fun has shut down all production. So what a kick in the nuts. But if you're into recreation arcades like I am, I mean, Arcade 1-Up was a gateway drug. It was allowing me to put this cheaper, sometimes cheaper, you know, more reliable in terms of I didn't have to do the regular arcade maintenance version of an arcade in my home that looked like the arcade, had the right art, had the right control format in most cases. I was pretty happy with that concept. Then I got really happy when they started making the XL cabs, and then everything kind of fell apart with Arcade One Up. Yeah, there you go. I agree with that. Yeah, that's the problem. Basic Fun have put out an announcement that all their production is currently on hold because of the tariffs with China. So, yeah, man, I hope, Brian G. I absolutely hope. But I did want to talk about this. So we've been through the ringer with Iconic Arcade in the course of the last 2 or 3 months. I'm sure all of you guys have been following the news. So initially, this thing came out. There was the announcement during CES back in January. Our buddy B Young, our buddy 19K Fox, Justin was there, also our buddy, and he was there in person. And we got to see this thing for the very first time. Of course, it was a rough prototype, but we got to look at it. It looked like what most of us wanted. This was a continuation of the Arcade One Up XL line. There was some extra Raspberry Pis for people who wanted to mod, like, and that's awesome if you want to do that. But mostly, I was looking for more of these arcade recreations in a larger form factor. I was pretty happy with that, except I did shit on the art for quite a bit. I know, I was pretty hard on the art. Someone had to, in my opinion. I didn't like it. Anyways, after that, they did a press junket. They were around on my channel, a couple other channels. They said D-Mac and Bobby Boo was going to do all the talking for the company. Pre-orders went out. Pre-orders, apparently, according to, I can't remember his name now off the top of my head, but the guy from the sales department that also does like the sales for Arcade One Up, he said they were blown away by the response to this. So pre-orders went out. Then pre-orders went out in Canada and people rejoiced. We were getting a new cab. Now, it's not for everybody. I understand that. There's some people in the community that the fact that John D was tied to it immediately made it a no buy for them. There's people out there that their value system is they don't like John based on what they've seen John do in the community, the rumors about what John have done, the shit that happened between him and Glenn. Of course, there's also the controversy between him and Rexer. I don't know enough to comment on that, so I won't. But of course, all this plays into it that some people just aren't going to support that product because they don't like that person. Now, me, I don't necessarily feel that way. I could pretty much hate somebody, but if it's a good product, I'm going to buy it because I focus more on my enjoyment than I guess the community importance of supporting the right people. I don't know. It's just such a weird concept. Like I like McDonald's. I'm sure some of the people that run McDonald's are horrible human beings, but I'm still going to get a Big Mac. That's the way I look at it. But if you choose not to buy something because of the people involved, I totally respect that. Just, don't expect that of me. We have different value systems, maybe. Anyways, off my soapbox there. So I will say I was really excited for this. I wanted to pre-order, and especially when I found out that pre-orders were going to be live in Canada with free shipping, because that's one of my big points about not buying a lot of products from the US previously was the shipping was just so goddamn expensive here. I've pre-ordered products from Arcade One Up at times where it's cost me like $200-300 American just in shipping before anything else comes out here. I know, what a jerk. I'm always like, man, let's go get a Big Mac. And he's like, no, thanks. 19K Fox has all that membership money. I'm going to Denny's. Yes, 100%. I don't disagree with you. So since then, I do want to bring this up on screen. So here is their website, which has been a point of conversation for a while now. There's the great splash screen that Mason Comrade did for them. Like he does amazing work. And of course, we get down here, and originally, if you wanted to pre-order, all you had to do was press on one of these cabinets, and it would take you to the pre-order for one of these cabs. But of course, if you do that today, let me just change the view on this. Nope. We'll go with that one. So if you try to press on one of these, nothing happens. The link is broken. And that was like that for about 2 or 3 weeks. We reached out to, John, people reached out to Iconic Arcade, no answer. Then, of course, rumors started to come out about this apparent cease and desist. So everybody started getting mad about the cease and desist, saying that it was people knew behind the scenes. They were trying to hide it. And like, it's the dumbest thing in the world. I will say that. I don't know who knew what. I've been very open about what I knew and didn't know. I can't speak for anybody else, but what I will tell you this, a cease and desist, if you look it up, is a warning. That's it. It's a letter. No legal action has actually taken place. So if there's validity to the statement that Iconic Arcade received a cease and desist, all it is warning. It's a warning saying, hey, we think you're infringing on one or two elements of our business. Maybe the cab is too close, something like that. So that's all it was. Now, is there further legal action? Nobody knows. Like maybe people that are tied to the business, they know. Maybe people that are close to John D know. I mean, at the end of the day, this is not even John D's product. Like John D is involved. His company Media One Up was working with this company to do it. But this is Lenovo's product. They own Iconic Arcade. I don't know anybody talking to Lenovo. I don't know what's happening there. So more than likely, if there is a legal issue, right now, I would imagine the lawyers between Lenovo and Arcade One Up are trying to work it out. But in the meantime, you can still pre-order these. The pre-orders are still up. Don't freak out about the price. Nothing's changed. These are the Canadian pre-orders, but you can still pre-order right today. So it's free shipping. You got to pay a partial payment up front. In the US, it was $350, and for me, it's $500. And that's on the World Warrior machine. The other one is the Alpha machine, $500 pre-order, free shipping. So I've been back and forth about this, and you guys have known my story. I want to get this. I want to jump in. Exactly, 100%. Jason S., we're going to talk about that in a second. B. Kirby, I canceled my pre-order, the Alpha, and received my refund last week due to the lack of communications. It's shamed. We'll see what happens in the future with them, and that's totally understandable, B. Kirby. And another thing, you got to give them credit on, like, people are trying to make up this thing like, they stole your money. They're on a beach right now. Anybody who's canceled, like, they pretty much had no issue getting their refund back. So there you go. Oh, we talked about that in Sathius. I'm very excited. I got about 17 different plans to make it. I'm concerned that pre-orders are going to be limited, so we'll have to see how it goes. Yeah, that is a very good point as well, Odd But Cools. And I still kept my pre-order with Iconic Arcade. I'm going to tell you where I am, guys. I am conflicted. I want to do this because obviously I get free shipping. So I want to do that. But I do have some concerns, not so much because of the cease and desist or anything like that. I don't think people are going to be left holding the bag. Everybody's been getting their refunds back. What concerns me, though, are changes to the cabinet and actually the reaction of some of the people close to the product. So let's talk a little bit about that. So first up, since all this has happened, there's been no update. I kind of put out a statement, like a Jared Can statement, saying they can't really talk about it, and that's fine. Pitbull, why would I want you to kick me in the nuts? Do you think I have some kind of weird fetish or something? I don't get it. James Hates Everything says GameStop's getting 100 consoles. Oh, that's awesome news. That makes me feel a lot better, James. So I want to go back and talk about Iconic first. So Iconic, really, when we saw it back in January, we only saw a prototype. Let's be clear about that. This was not a finished version. And while a lot of things look good, there were a lot of things rough on it. Since then, we found out there's going to be some changes. One, of course, I talked about earlier. Of course, I shit all over the art. I said the art was not my cup of tea, which sucks because it's easy to say these things to a nameless company like, Arcade One Up. If I say their art sucks, There's not somebody from the community whose feelings hurt. But the artwork done for these cabs, believe it or not, this was a community person. I can't remember the name. I can't remember his name exactly off the top of my head, but this was a community member John D reached out to and asked to help work on the art. And he did these designs. He really liked them. I was critical. I shit all over them. So, yeah, I felt bad about that. You know, it'd be the same if, like, for example, you got Angel to do the marquee and then I shit all over the marquee. I'd feel a little bit bad about that. I'm not going to lie to you. I would. But at the same time, I have to treat this the same as every other product, and I didn't like the art. So they did put out some communications, giving us options on what the side art could be changed to, letting people with pre-orders vote. We never ever got feedback on that. So a lot of us are holding out for the pre-order until we know exactly what that cab is going to look like. So regardless of whatever else is going on, that's an update that I believe Iconic Arcade should provide us. How did that pan out? Are you sticking with the original art? Are you making changes? We're a month out. I feel you guys should let us know. Then on top of that, there were some other things brought up by some of the people that were there. I'm going to talk about my friend 19K Fox and B Kong right now. And I do think it's a little bit concerning that these two people were really close with the product. They went there, saw it in person, got to play it. But yet, if you've been following them, they've both come out and admitted they have not pre-ordered it. They have no interest in getting it. Like, I think it was B Kong who said, you know what? I already have a machine with a Pi in it. I'm not super interested. He's not getting it, but he's one of the few people to actually have firsthand interaction with the machine. In fact, he had firsthand interaction with the Double Dragon prototype cabs as well. So that's a little concerning. Hearing 19K Fox also saying something similar, he's not interested in pre-ordering. I know when I talked to Fox earlier, I'm like, what do you think of it? He said, it's great, but I need to see some changes. One of which specifically he said was, I need to see what the UI looks like. I know that he's kind of completely changed his mindset lately. I mean, this stuff happens when nothing new comes out for years. You find other shiny things that catch your interest. And for 19K Fox, he was originally doing arcade modding. It brought him back when the Arcade 1-Ups came out. Now he's back to buying real cabs. This shit happens. The same thing happened with Retro Ralph. Retro Ralph originally started with Arcade 1-Up because they were accessible, they were easy to get, there was something to get at retail, and it sparked an interest in him to go to arcade modding, which has now sparked an interest in go to pinball, which, if you haven't been following, a lot of other people are interested too. It's amazing that arguably the two biggest channels that we ever had in the Arcade 1-Up home community were Cool Toy and Retro Ralph. Now, Cool Toy has always been a variety channel. That's what I always try to say I am. I'm a variety channel. I talk about what I'm interested in. But, you know, Retro Ralph is always very specific on what he is. And Cool Toy was heavily home arcade and between the toys. But if you look at them now, they're both hardcore pinball channels. And this stuff just happens. There's a lot of other people in the community. Console Kits actually still has a lot of his Arcade 1-Ups, believe it or not, even though he doesn't show them off. On top of that, he has like 16 real pinball machines. People's interests change. They get into different stuff. Pinball is flashy, new, it's exciting. You know, we all got there through a gateway drug, which was in fact virtual pinball, whether it be Toy Shock, whether it be the Arcade 1-Up pinballs, whether it be the At Games Legends Pinball HD or the At Games Legends Pinball 4K, that made us interested in pinball, which led to that further ground of physical pinball. So, I mean, these are natural progressions. I don't know why people try to make it weird or anything like that. This stuff just fucking happens, especially when the companies aren't doing anything, when there's nothing new coming out. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's not a lie. There's nothing happening. The companies aren't doing anything. And when we did have an increase, it seemed like there was hope with Basic Fun and with Iconic Arcade for these recreation arcade machines to come back out. Tariffs Tariffs have knocked us back. We might be, hopefully not that long. Hopefully this trade war doesn't last very long, or these companies figure out different ways to make these cabs, but that takes time. You can't just say, oh shit, tariffs, move everything to Indonesia, move everything to the US. It takes years. So there you go. And I mean, 100%, let's be real here. Arcade One Up have just completely shit the bed and haven't been able to do anything, whether it's on their management for poor management of their product and brand, or maybe a different vision, or maybe it's the retailer saying we're not interested. I don't know why, but from that aspect, which, debate it all you want, they were the leaders of this whole home arcade revolution. It was them coming out with these wonderful little, really, cheaply made, but still serviceable home arcade products, and then At Games coming out with an absolute gem of a multicade that you could do legitimately anything with. I mean, that's what started all this madness for most of us. Of course, multicades have been around for years. There's all kinds of third-party companies, Rec Room Masters and shit that have always been making good products, but we wanted something cheap and something accessible, and Arcade One Up and At Games hit the nail on the head for a lot of us. Now I am surprised. I am really surprised, P-Dubs. You have piqued my interest. First, you have my interest, but now you have my curiosity. I don't know if I said that right or not. It's been a long time since I watched Django. I don't think he had Kong. I really had it that Dubs had Dungeons and Dragons, but I think he did something else. Could he have done Spooky Evil Dead? That does not seem like. I'm really interested to see what he's got. I also want to see what Midlife Arcade got as well. He's in my, I don't know if you guys have been following him, but he was a lot like all of us, like big, huge Arcade One Up fan, still is a big, huge Arcade One Up fan. And then, like all of us, we bought these virtual pinball machines. We said, pinball's fucking rad. And then we got into pinball. Like since then, he's bought a Jaws Stern machine. He's bought a Lethal Weapon 3 pinball, which he sold. And then what did he pick up after that? I'm trying to remember now off the top of my head. He had a Stranger Things. No, he didn't. I can't remember everything he got. He picked up something recently, and I'm drawing a blank on that now. But recently, he just picked up a. Oh man, hold on, hold on. I need my memory refreshed. In my old age, I'm starting to forget things that should be very easy. So hold on, I'll tell you now. He picked up The Shadow, Alec Baldwin's The Shadow. So that's what he picked up. And he's also got an Avengers Infinity Quest and then a Holy Grail for him. So really, really friggin' cool stuff. Dubs could have saved a lot of money and just bought a Stern Star Trek. I'll tell you that. Oh, pinball junkies, you don't even understand, man. There was whenever like stuff comes up, it's so limited here in Newfoundland. So a friend of mine, the guy I bought my Jurassic Park from, he actually bought a Tales from the Crypt, and he had it. And I know he spent $4,000. He was going to sell it for $4,000. So I was interested. I went back to him, and he's like, "Oh no, it's already gone." So then the other guy bought it, my friend Ralph Link, and Ralph is awesome, like super nice guy. We actually went to university together. We both did business together, but he's a long-term like reseller. He used to be in the flea market reselling carts. He's the guy that bought up most of the warehouse stuff here. He has all the arcade cabinets. And if you talk to him about it, he wants top fucking dollar. And I don't mean top dollar as in what's fair and equitable. I mean, I will go on Pinside, and he had a Demolition Man. And I was like, yeah, so what do you want on your Demolition Man? And he was like, I'm thinking 6,500 Canadian. And I was at the time, I was like, yeah, Demolition Man, the average price is usually around 4,500 to 5,000 Canadian. And he's like, yeah, I don't care about that. I sell it for what it went for most recently. So if it went for a high price somewhere, I fixate on that price, and that's what I'm going to charge you. And I was like, you motherfucker. So anyways, he bought Tales from the Crypt from my buddy Mike that sold me the Jurassic Park. Then he added an extra $2,000 on it. And I said, you son of a bitch. Did no work with it, did nothing to fix it up. Just immediately jacked on an extra $2,000. Son of a bitch. So, anyways, I got a little bit off track there. So, yeah, check out Midlife Arcade if you like pinball. Like he does all kinds of streams on Jurassic Park, and not Jurassic Park on Jaws Pinball. I can't remember what the other game is now off the top of my head, but go check out Midlife Arcade. Super solid guy. So, going back to the original point, Kong said he's not getting it because he's just not interested in the hobby anymore. 19K Fox talked about it. But I do want to talk about some of the other things Fox mentioned, one of which was the UI. And unlike other arcade one ups, I mean, we have a base to go on. We knew what their UI was. It's usually pretty much the same, pretty similar, but this is a brand new company. We have no idea what their UI looks like. At least some kind of update showing us the UI would be very important. We want to know how easy it is to get into the game. Is it a mess? Is it just titles? UI is important. Other companies know this. Look at Act Games. They just went through a pile of work to come up with a new UI. In fact, they released a whole new fucking cabinet, the CEHD, mainly focused on the change in UI. It's very important. So the fact that Iconic Arcade, the prototype, didn't even have that. A lot of people want to see it. To me, that's a very important thing that we do need an update on before a lot of us would consider actually buying. And then there's the other side of it. This has a pie in it. We also want to know how the UI is going to interact with the pie. Can we just put games on it? Do we need to have a build? How do we access it? There's so many questions left unanswered from the software side that we're a month out, and it really will impact whether or not people keep their pre-orders or make a pre-order for the product. So for me, that's a huge piece. No UI, it's going to be scary for a lot of people, especially most of the people in the Arcade One Up and Act Games community. The reason we like those products wasn't because you had to do all this science to mod it. It was the fact it was so fucking easy. It was so simple. Like with Act Games, if we wanted to add an extra game, you go get an OOS file, put it on your hard drive, then it shows up. There's a little picture. Everything shows up so you can play it. How's that going to work with Iconic Arcade? You're selling a pie cab that people can mod, but how does the modding work? We're going to kind of want to know. So, yeah, there you go. Yeah, and there's the other one. These cabs, it's so important to understand. Mystery Encoder, my God, like again, doing so much for the community. There's an expectation that you're going to be able to do online play with this. We don't know about it. We heard you guys talk about it. You wanted to do the appropriate, online. I forget what it's called. The same one that was a problem with Marvel, the rollback online netcode, and you wanted it to play that way. But we have no update on that. We have no update on will online be ready when the cab comes out. I mean, if the cab releases next month and online's not ready, you're going to be in a mess. It's going to absolutely destroy your company right from the start because you're going to run into the same situation you ran into with Marvel versus Capcom 2 and with NFL Blitz again. If the online isn't ready, that's a kick in the nuts. Bob, so good to see you, my man. How you doing? Yeah, I know a bike. I know a bike named Annabelle. There's concerns about this because of the silence. I'm sure that it has something to do with whatever happened between Arcade One Up, the supposed cease and desist that more than likely 100% happened, or whatever further action was taken between those two companies. I'm sure that's a big reason we're not getting these updates. But at the same time, your cab comes out in like a month's time, and there's still people like me that are trying to make up my mind in the midst of all this other fucking shit that I want to buy, like a Switch 2, like I just bought the analog. So other things are pulling my attention away from your product if you do not provide some kind of update. And I'm not shitting on them. I'm not shitting on John D here. I understand there's probably extenuating circumstances, but something's got to go out for people to remain confident in the product they pre-ordered, or for people that have been waiting for updates. And I mean, here's the thing. Like, if I do not pre-order this and the pre-order ends and I can no longer get free shipping, I'll just not fucking buy it. Modding is easy. Take the iconic arcade, micro SD, throw it in the trash, put your own in with Battle Zero, Coin Ops, Recall Box. Yeah, I'm sure that is 100% easy for some people. Dubs, some of your best videos were on modding the At Games Legends Ultimate. There's an opportunity here, man. Maybe another 100,000 view video. Just put a pie in it. It's already got a pie in it. Yeah, I think really the core of this is we're a month out. I don't know what your company is going through in terms of any argument with Arcade One Up over whatever the fuck it is going on with, legal battles, all that stuff. But at some point, you're going to have to provide some information to people. And specifically, what I want to see from Iconic Arcade in the course of the next month before the cab comes out, in order for me personally to place that pre-order, is I want an update on the art. I want an update on the UI. I want an update on the online. And another thing that we didn't really get a lot of time to talk about, but I do want to talk about, what changes do you guys have to make in regards to legal action with Arcade One Up, if it's something about the way the cabs are built, what changes you had to make that way, and B, what potential changes are you making because of tariffs? And obviously, this cab cost X amount of dollars back in January when you put the pre-order up. It's now going to cost Y amount of dollars after these crazy tariffs. So in order for you to make your money work, did you have to make any changes? An update on that. I think that's only fair. I don't know what you can do, but something. You got to give us something here, Jim, in order for people to feel confident about making that pre-order or keeping that pre-order. So, I'm not trying to shit on you, knock you down. I'm just saying, for the good of the people buying and for the good of the company and reputation about a brand new product coming out that a lot of people have hope for, especially with everybody else absolutely shit in the bed, you got to figure out some way to communicate to those pre-order holders, to that audience, to the community, what these changes have happened. That's my opinion, and I'll stick with it on that. No, nobody wants this shit going on. I agree with you saying spirits 100%. Oh yeah, I have no doubt that it'll be super easy to mod and throw stuff on. But what I would like to see and like to know, Mystery Encoder, is there some kind of gateway to do it? Is it just going to be a backdoor? Like, I think the way I'll put it was Arcade One Up's Pac-Man plug and play, or the Pac-Man, giant head joystick. Remember those little dongle consoles they sold with those? They had a UI with games on it, and then there was a backdoor where it looked like shit and just text came up and you could play it. That's what I want to know. Like, is there going to be a UI for the main games, and is there then going to be a UI for any additional games added in? How's that going to work? Does that make sense? Hey, Cleveland Gaming Classic. I'm still working on my wife. I'll tell you this, guys. I'm not trying to be critical of my wife or critical of the U.S. I really want to go to Cleveland in September. A lot of my friends are going. I'm really excited about it. My wife's super nervous with the tensions going on between Canada and the U.S. right now. I don't fully agree with her, but I understand her point. I'm going to be very clear about this. This is not about how I feel about the country or concerns. It's about making my wife happy. And at the end of the day, I will make myself look like an idiot and come across like a douchebag if it makes my wife happy and comfortable. So she doesn't want me to go right now, and that's where we are. Still working on it, and I'm hoping things change before September so I can go. Love you too, man. Like I just saw the other day, John Riggs is going. I was so sad I missed him last year. I've been friends with John now for 8-9 years. Always wanted to meet up with him in person. So I'm really hoping, man. I'm really hoping. See, Matt Asher Gaming gets it. Do your duty to get that booty. Yeah, maybe that's it too, 100%. But if she's uncomfortable, yeah, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. Triumph for Die gets it. Oh yeah. Dairy Queen years ago switched over to this grilling method with their burgers, kind of reminiscent of what Burger King used to be before Burger King turned into absolute dog shit. And flame broiled burgers from Dairy Queen are amazing. Like, especially when they were dirt cheap. They used to have this 4 items for five menu. You can go get like 4 cheeseburgers and fries for $5. This is like 20 years ago when life was still really good. But oh man, I'd shit on you, but you'd be welcome here. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, I know, Brooklyn. I know. Jay Pace, you're one of the big reasons I did this. I knew that you're a pre-order person waiting to get this shit down. So yeah, I'm happy to try to get that out there. You wouldn't want to. Like, honestly, this place is a barren wasteland. There's just moose and beaver attacks everywhere. Stay away from Canada, friends. Nice. Nice. Anyways, guys, I'd keep you here all night. You know the way I work. I just like talking and shit like that. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully, I don't know if I have any power or influence or anything like that, but hopefully the message is sent. There's lots of people that want to keep their pre-orders. There's lots of people who want to make pre-orders. Iconic Arcade, just tell us what the fuck's going on, like with something. Anyways, guys, everybody have a wonderful night. Thanks for watching. This has been Chill and Chat with Michael B.